Hi everyone. Today I just want to take a minute of your time and talk to you about children and how they eat differently. So I know that sounds a little weird, but for me, and it's not like how they eat different from adults. It's just that they're different types of personalities. Um, I have three teenage boys, and I've come to learn how to work with their individualities and getting them to eat properly and healthy. Um, it wasn't always that way growing up in my house. I mean, my parents had some pretty crazy ideas, and I loved the way they would get my sisters to eat. My sisters were picky eaters, so I've kind of carried that on with my children. So, but I want my children to eat healthy, and wasn't always healthy growing up. Then my parents are a lot healthier now, but I want to give my children that healthy foundation. So, as I've worked with them, like I said, they're three different individuals and they have three different, very personalities. And so that really carries over into what they eat and what they like to eat. So I wanted to just take a minute and talk to you about that. So I would recommend just working with their personalities. You know your children better than anybody else. I can't tell you what works for you and what doesn't work for you. You do know what works best for your children, and you can research the internet of what works here, what was there, and mix it all together and find out what really works for your child, is what I would recommend. I know, so my oldest has hypoglycemia. He is gluten intolerant and he can't have dyes. So that restricts his diet quite a bit. So for me, I started when he was very young, especially with the hypoglycemia. He didn't become gluten intolerant until he was a little older. But when he was really young, I really started on that and telling him, you don't like that yucky feeling. You don't like the way it makes you feel. You got to realize that if you eat the candy and the sweets, they're going to make you feel better. Or if you don't feel like eating, it's not going to make you feel good. So, because your sugar level, it has to be balanced. And you have to eat. You can't eat the yucky stuff. So, for him, he really took that to heart. He didn't like that yucky feeling. He didn't like getting sick to his stomach. So he really took that to heart. And it really helped him in the long run. My middle child was, he's my picky eater. And we all know those picky eaters is hard, hard, hard. For him, the turning point, I think, was I worked with him is that he's a gymnast. And he really likes to do that. And so we had to have a long talk about how to eat healthy and be a gymnast and how those two correlate. So that's how I worked with him. And my third son, he's my all out, he eats everything in sight. He's my beanpole that has metabolism high end, but he's very active, very into sports and everything. So for him, I tried to get him to on a schedule for his eating, so he's not constantly snacking all the time and eating like a whole entire bag of chips at a time. So for me, it's moderation with him and eating at a certain times. So I know how to work with their personalities, and as parents, we all know how to work with our children's personalities and how to work them and how to get them to do what we want them to do. And so I think it's the same thing when we want them to eat what we want them to eat. And you just got to work with their personalities. I don't ever believe that there's food out there that kids will just not eat. I have a very strong rule in my house that before you say no, you don't like it, you have to try it. I've always had that rule. My parents had that rule, and I followed it through me for adulthood and when I give it to my children. So you always have to try it before you can say no. You can't just look at it and go, I don't like it. It just doesn't fly with me. That's just me. And we are constantly trying new things. I'm always looking up new recipes. I am very huge in crock potting because the kids do a lot of sports. And so that really helps me. So I try to eat for dinners the clean, healthy, or meat and vegetables and really good foods for dinner. And we always throw it in a crock pot slow cooker. And it really, really works for us. So, but that's all I wanted to talk about today. And I hope that gave you some ideas, and I hope that helped you, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, fabulous day.